Hi, it's Savannah O'Gwynn from Savannah Land 2. I have another start to finish video for you today. Unfortunately, I need a sympathy card, and I came up with a simple design by sketching it, and I thought I'd share how I make it from beginning to end. Now my sketch looks like this, but we all know that this could change. I'm using some crepe papers that I've had on my desk for about 3 months, along with some of the following paper smooches, stamps, and dies. I really like some string around this large banner, and so I want to put a butterfly or two with it. I'm not really sure if that's going to happen, but I also will be using a technique that I shared a couple months back. I do know that this large banner is going to be this larger banner die, and I'd like to extend it by using an embossing mat. So I'm going to make it a little bit bigger using that technique. You can click up in the corner for the original video if you'd like to check that out. I also thought about using a couple of sentiments from Salutations and Sentiment Sampler, and possibly the flag tag stamps as well. Now, since I want to share everything from start to finish, I'll be speeding up my video from here. Please leave a comment below with a link to one of your creations or projects, or link up to the Inspired by Virtual Smooches post. Maybe you will be our next featured fan. Plus, I'd love to check out your project. Thanks so much for watching. So, I absolutely love just sharing how I create my cards from start to finish. Sometimes I'm less technical and you see my mistakes, but I still love sharing these videos with you. Right here, I'm doing the exact same thing I do for all of my cards. I'm adding a cardstock to a card base, and then I'm adding it with my large glue tape runner. I'm going to trim it down and then decide to add a center pattern paper panel. Say that 10 times fast. Now I'm trying to decide which papers I want to use, and I know I want to use that flower background with my banner die. And this is where I'm going to extend the banner using that extended technique that I did before. So I'm laying it down and I'm deciding where I want it and where to put the mat. And I realize I have to move it over because the mat's a little larger than my cutting area. So I replace it, and I'm going to place it just down the center of the mat so that it cuts just that left side. You can see that it just cut that side. Now I then realize that my banner won't cut the center piece, so I'll have to cut that, and I'm smacking my forehead behind the scenes, but it all works out in the end. So I flip it over, and now I'm going to place the mat on the other side, so it cuts just the right side. And I'm bending the banner die back to its original shape. The mat kind of warped it a little bit, but it was fine. And you can see that my banner is larger, and I'm just drawing some lines so that I know where to cut. And now I'm just trying to decide where I want to place it. And if the banner from that flag tags die set will work, and I really like it. I'm trying to match up the sentiments to see which one will fit best. And I go with the Sentiment Sampler set. And there's so many choices when you're working with cards, I guess. You have to figure out what color of ribbons, and you have to decide what kind of dies and sizes and papers. I do love it. But here I'm trying to decide which color of butterflies I should use, and what pattern, I guess. And I thought maybe I could use 2 different colors, but I decided against that. And so I just cut 2 pretty flower butterflies out. And as I'm looking at it, I decide I'm not really sure I like that. So I look for another pattern, and I really like that striped paper. So I cut another piece of that and die cut 2 more butterflies. I was thinking that maybe I could layer them with 2 different, patterns, and maybe that would give it a little bit more dimension. And you'll see I'm messing around with them and trying to figure out what I like and how I should do it. But nothing really looked as good as the two striped butterflies together, so that's what I ended up with. And so I cut two strings, two different colors. But I get distracted. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to work on the sentiment now. Just checking to make sure it stamps well. Now I'm going to attach my papers. Measure, although I didn't really measure well. One side was a little larger than the other, but that's alright. I pull out some of my foam and I decide I'm going to use this Martha Stewart foam for the banner, or the flag banner. And I add a little bit more foam adhesive and I add it kind of crooked, and I love that. I love how that looks. Now I layer my butterflies, and now I'm just trying to decide what to do with this string and how I should attach it. But I can't really attach it until the sentiment's on, so I'm going to add that first using just an adhesive runner. And now I'm tying a bow. Not really sure how I want to attach this. Doesn't look right. So I just bunch up a bunch of string and I'm like, does that work? Well, let me try this again. Does that look good? Nope, let me try another one. I literally tied probably 3 or 4 bows. And that was the third or fourth one, and now here's the final one. I just decide to bunch it up into a bow looking kind of thing and then staple it in the center. I really love how it ended up looking. And then I decide to add the sediment back on there with some Tombow Mono multi-glue because the adhesive didn't attach well. And then I put the butterflies on foam tape, and then I think I'm done. But no, I decide it needs just a little bit more, and I add a couple of gems. It was just the perfect touch to this card. I cannot tell you how perfect this card was for my friend. And sometimes I look at it and I decide yes or no. So I remove one gem and leave the others on the right hand side, and it's just perfect. And so that's my card. I hope that you liked my extra video. And please leave a comment below with the link to one of your creations or projects, or link up to the Inspired by Virtual Smooches post. Maybe you will be our next featured fan. Plus, I'd love to check out your project. Thank you so much for watching.